There's no place like home, but it's definitely time to get back on the road. A lot of folks were asking what I did with the van while I was out of town. Ended up just using airport parking. There's a whole bunch of like off-site parking for the airport here in Denver, so I just used that. I found a pretty good deal on it. It was like $100 to park for almost 3 weeks here. And my other option was to leave it at a friend's house, but she didn't have a driveway, and she's in like a permitted parking area, and there was street sweeping, and she wasn't gonna be in town, so I was gonna have to like leave my keys somewhere and hide them, so that when she got back, she could then move the van for street sweeping and all that. So instead of risking getting tickets or possibly even coming back to the van having been towed away by the city of Denver, I decided to just park it here. Man, it feels good to be home. Nice to be back in the van. Not that there was anything wrong with that rental car, it was fine, but I definitely prefer driving this Nissan. It's a little bit higher up, it just feels a lot better overall, and it's just nice to be back in my house. Everything seems fine, got the fridge back on and running. I'm gonna go to the grocery store, pick some things up and stock it up, and yeah, it's worked out pretty well. It did get pretty hot in here, I will admit that. You know, parking not in the covered area, it was exposed to sunlight, and it was pretty hot here, I think, while I was gone. So like my camera mount that I used for my camera on the dash literally melted off, guys. Like, it is completely melted. It does not stick anymore, so I'm gonna have to take care of that at some point in the near future here, but otherwise things worked out pretty well. It's good to be back home. I really just kind of needed to like get away from people for a little bit, just get away from civilization. It's not that my trip to New England was bad. It was really awesome. Like I said in the last video, it was really great being able to see family, but it wasn't really like a relaxing vacation. It was a little stressful. I was running around constantly trying to make sure that I saw everybody and got to spend as much time as I could with my family, who I'm probably not going to get to see at least for a few months, if not quite a bit longer than that. So it was enjoyable, but I kind of need a little bit of time to unwind from the trip, I guess you could say. This is a pretty cool spot here. It's in the Roosevelt National Forest. This is the first time I've ever come out here. It's probably about an hour or so outside of Boulder, Colorado, maybe like 45 minutes or so outside of Boulder. I drove for quite a while after getting into the airport. I went and grabbed a bite to eat, went to the grocery store, bought a bunch of stuff, and then came straight out here, just trying to get out here before the sun went down. And actually, freecampsites.net, that's where I found this, but it was wrong. As I was driving through, there was a whole bunch of camping areas, but it looks like the area that was part of the National Forest recently became privately owned. It's all private property now, so there are signs everywhere. No camping, private property, stay away, all this kind of thing, no trespassing. But if you keep going down the road, which gets really, really bad as you get further and further into it, there are a few dispersed camping areas, and it becomes the National Forest again. But it was definitely a trek getting out here. I mean, look at this here. There's like trees hanging down into the roadway. Most of it is covered in these pretty good-sized rocks, and there are definitely some big dips and big potholes and stuff like that. It was pretty sketchy getting down there in a low-clearance vehicle, and I know that I talk about this a lot, but you know, one day I think it would be reasonable to try to lift it, even if it's just a couple of inches, to put a little bit of a lift kit on the Envy, so that just to have the extra peace of mind when I'm out here trying to access spots like this. I mean, this is an amazing spot. I don't think anyone's going to be coming down here for the rest of the night. It's really, really quiet out here, but it's kind of hard to get to. Okay, I know a bowl of cereal isn't really the best dinner here, but I did have a pretty big lunch when I got off the plane around 4 o'clock, and so I'm not really that hungry at this point. I've also been traveling all day, and I am really exhausted. I don't want to say I'm jet-lagged necessarily, but because it's only a 2-hour difference from the East Coast, but it is kind of weird. Like, it's 6:30 here, but it feels a lot more like 8:30, and I was up super early this morning. I've been running around all day. I just kind of want to eat this bowl of cereal and relax instead of cooking. I did buy a bunch of food to cook, but I'll just have to save that for tomorrow.
I knew a king in his purple throne, had some trouble, so he's all alone now. Used to bring him little presents over from time to time. He'd sit me in his castle and he'd pick my mind. He said, if you value your life, stay in the game. If you value the game, stay in that style. If you value that style, well, you're sinking, son. And if you don't want to sink, then you better run.
It's a song by Shaky Graves, Word of Mouth. Maybe one of my favorite songs ever. Aside from maybe a couple of dirt bikes and ATVs that I heard off in the distance yesterday evening, I don't think there's been anyone out here at all. Until this morning, about a few minutes ago, I did see a truck drive by on this road right here, and it had like emblems on it, and there was like antennas sticking out, so I'm thinking it was some kind of a park ranger or security or something like that. He did kind of slow down when he noticed my van, and I was standing right outside the van, and he kind of looked at it and then just kept on his way. You do have to take this road, I think, to come back out though, so he's going to be coming by any minute now at some point, and I figure he'll say something if there's a problem with me camping here. Not that I'm really planning on being here too much longer. I was thinking about maybe spending another night, but I don't have any cell service, and it's really hard to get work done without cell service. It's Wednesday right now. This video that you guys are seeing is going to go out on Friday, and I still haven't even finished editing it yet. I don't have any music for it, so I got to get on the internet in order to access that stuff. It's kind of hard for me to be away from cell service for a couple of days at a time, especially when I'm on a tight schedule and trying to get a video out by the end of the week. Lunch today is pretty simple, just some pre-made red beans and rice, along with some sauteed spinach and arugula. Not really sure how the spinach is gonna turn out. I just kind of sauteed it with some butter stuff, and I don't know, I just need to get some vegetables. I'm gonna try to mix it all together. I got some tortillas, so maybe make like little mini burritos out of it. We'll see how it turns out. It's pretty good. All right, here comes the fun part, trying to actually get out of here. Made it out okay. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was gonna be. Although one of the main roads coming back down towards like the Boulder, Denver area was closed, and that was the road that I was planning to take. So I had to like go all the way around up through a town called Nederland, Colorado, which was thought kind of interesting because that's like, isn't that how you say Dutch in Dutch? I'm pretty sure it is. Nederland, that's like the Dutch language. Anyways, drove up through there and then came all the way back down, and it took like an extra hour to get over here. But like I said, I made it back to civilization here. Have a lot of work to do this afternoon and then into tomorrow morning. And then tomorrow evening, my plan is to start making my way out of Colorado. I'm going to start heading west, back towards California. Like I said in the previous video, I've got like a whole trip planned out, and I'm definitely planning to stop in some of the national parks in Utah, find some cool camp spots on the way back towards San Francisco. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to y'all in the next video.